They told him to give up. They said his limits were reached, that talent had peaked, that destiny had chosen someone else. But they never understood one thing. Saiyan pride does not break. It bleeds. It burns. But it never bows. This is not the story of a hero who was chosen. This is the story of a warrior who refused to accept loss. From the moment he could stand, he was taught one rule: win or die trying. No mercy, no excuses, no surrender. While others fought to protect, he fought to prove. To prove that weakness had no place in his blood. To prove that he was born for more. To prove that quitting was never an option. But pride is heavy. It doesn't comfort you when you fall. It doesn't save you when you lose. It stands there, watching, judging, asking one question: will you rise again or accept humiliation? Loss after loss carved him deeper, not into despair, but into hunger. Every defeat sharpened his rage. Every failure fueled his obsession. Because quitting would mean admitting that effort was meaningless. And that was unacceptable. He trained while others slept. He pushed past pain that would break lesser warriors. He endured silence, isolation, and doubt, not for praise, not for approval, but because stopping was worse than death. They called him arrogant. But arrogance is loud and fragile. What he carried was different. It was conviction. The belief that no matter how many times he fell, as long as he could stand back up, he was still in the fight. Understand, this Saiyan doesn't measure himself by victories alone. He measures himself by how many times he survives defeat and comes back stronger. And even when the universe stood against him, even when fate mocked him, even when the gap felt impossible, one thought remained unshaken: I will never quit. This is where it begins. Not at the peak, not at the win, but at the moment where quitting seems reasonable and pride says no. No one talks about this part, the fight that doesn't leave bruises, the battle no one cheers for, the war inside. Every time he looked forward, there was someone else standing there, smiling, growing faster, surpassing limits like they meant nothing. And that was the real pain. Not defeat, being second. Pride doesn't scream when you lose. It whispers. It asks questions you don't want to answer. Why him? Why not you? Was your bloodline a lie? And those questions hit harder than any punch. He trained harder than ever, but the gap didn't disappear. It followed him, mocked him, a shadow he couldn't outrun. Here's the truth most warriors never admit. Jealousy can either rot you or forge you. And for him, it became fuel. He stopped chasing approval, stopped fighting to be loved. He fought to outgrow doubt, outgrow limits, outgrow the version of himself that accepted second place. Every scream in training wasn't rage, it was refusal. Refusal to be forgotten, refusal to be ordinary, refusal to accept a story where he wasn't enough. He learned something painful but powerful. You don't grow when you're comfortable. You grow when your pride is wounded and you still choose to stand. And slowly, the jealousy changed shape. It became focus. It became discipline. It became evolution. Not to surpass someone else, but to surpass yesterday's self. Because deep down he understood, if he could conquer his own doubt, No rival could truly defeat him. This wasn't about winning anymore. This was about identity. Who are you when you're not the strongest? Who are you when the crowd doesn't believe? Who are you when quitting would finally make the pain stop? And his answer was clear. I endure. I adapt. I rise. The universe didn't bend for him. So he decided he would bend himself into something unbreakable. This is where most warriors disappear. Not in battle, not in defeat, but in the moment when nothing works anymore. There comes a time when effort feels useless, when training hurts but gives nothing back, when power refuses to answer your call. This is where pride finally cracks. For him, this wasn't just exhaustion. It was humiliation. Watching limits mock him, watching destiny favor someone else, watching everything he believed in fail. And for the first time, he felt it. Fear, not of dying, but of being irrelevant. Here's the truth no one tells you. Strength doesn't die when you lose. It dies when you accept that this is all you'll ever be. He stood there bloodied, exhausted, stripped of excuses. No legacy to hide behind. No title to protect him. No rage left to burn. Just silence. And in that silence, he realized something terrifying. Pride alone was never enough. So he made the hardest decision a warrior can make. He let it break him. Not to surrender, but to rebuild. Because real power isn't born from anger. It's born from acceptance. Acceptance of weakness. Acceptance of limits. Acceptance that growth demands sacrifice. He didn't scream anymore. Didn't boast. Didn't demand recognition. He trained in silence. Cold. Focused. Relentless. And slowly, something changed. Not explosive, not flashy, stable, uncontrolled, dangerous. He stopped fighting to prove himself. He fought because this is who he was. A warrior who rises even when the universe says no. A fighter who evolves when pride dies. A king who doesn't need a throne to stand tall. This wasn't victory. This was transformation. And here's the lesson he carved into existence. You don't need to be chosen. You don't need destiny's permission. You don't need to be first. You just need to never quit. Because the warrior who survives the breaking point is the one who becomes unstoppable. I will fall. I will suffer. But I will never quit.